Hey, welcome to the Man Cave. I'm sorry, I know we're a little bit behind, but we had some technical difficulties. The tripod that we got broke. Cats are just destructive, and kids don't put stuff away, and sometimes those two things don't go together. So we wanted to at least get an unboxing done. Gabriel's back to behind the camera. We'll get to our tournament again, hopefully next week. But in the meantime, I have the Dark Tomb series that I wanted to talk about. This is something I found out about at Gen Con. I had seen briefly the Kickstarter, and at the time I didn't have the money to support it. But we were there, and the designer Andy, his last name is Bergman. Andy Bergman was there, and he was showing off his game, and he had his lead designer there too. So my brother and I, we were like, okay, this looks really cool, and it's not too expensive. So I picked up both of the games that currently exist, which is the Dark Tomb Crypts of Aurelia and Dark Tomb Bloodthorn Island. And then he's got a new one coming, Dark Tomb. This one is the Ice Chasers. So I'm going to back this. I just haven't looked it up just yet, and I wanted to show off these. I played both of these at Gen Con. They were a lot of fun. And then my brother and I played both of them a couple times at his house, but I have not opened mine yet, as you can see. And the nice thing about these is they're 1 to 4 player games, so I can play these on my own too, which is why I've been kind of itching to open these up. I don't always have, especially now that school has started again, I don't always have a play group because my kids are always busy or doing school work or taking care of stuff or sleeping. So the first in the series was the Crypts of Aurelia, I believe. Yeah, this one's first. And this it's the Dark Tomb. So here's everything is in this little tin. It's very nicely set up. You've got your dice, you've got your little tokens, and then you've got your cards. And the cards, the whole game is pretty much right here. Rule book is concise. The words aren't too small, and it's a small rule book because it has to fit in the tin. But everything's right here. It's a very easy game to get a hold of. And to grasp the concepts. It's quick and easy. I think this is 19 pages, and that includes these pictures. So, and it says right here that there's more details and backstory at darktomb.com, where you can find out more about the realm that he's creating. So in this game, we have 4 heroes. We have Draven. We have Odin, Helios, and Aldrich. Okay, so this is your character card. It says that you've got your 12 armor, you can move 5, and this is your hit points, which changes depending on the game that you're playing. And then everybody gets these special cards. So here's Draven's, right? So each card has 2 moves on it, right? You're allowed to do 1 move a turn. And then your next move, you're not allowed to do the move you had just done. So you use one of these markers. No, not actually one of those. You use one of these markers, like Draven's orange. So you would get these 3 orange tokens. This is your token on the board that you're building, because see how it's got his symbol on it? So that's where that's how you know where he is. This one marks your life, for how much hit points you have left. So you start on your max, which for this guy is 8, and then you move down each time you take a point. This one you use to mark which thing you used on your previous turn. Like on his first move, if he dashes in order to get into the game, then the next turn he can't use his dash. So pretty much everybody has a move action, an attack action, a range action, and then a second attack action. So you can attack every turn. The interesting thing about how the decks work, once everybody gets their abilities here. So we have our kind of cheat sheets here. So the gray cards, the gray back cards, see? You have your character turns, and it tells you the things you can do on your character turns. And then it has your stage turn. So this is when your events take place. Then you have the decks. And each deck, each game has several different types of decks. So here we have our red decks. Our red decks this is the map stages. So if you look at this, see how 1, 2, 3, all those symbols are the same. So if we look here, these are the map tiles, okay? And the map tiles, each time, they're randomly put together. The white means that you would put one of these white things on here, see? And then as you're going through, that represents where the bad guys are, okay? So here we have water. There's water, there's a building, and there's where some sort of attack would happen, I think. Oh, the white is the items, that's right. And the black is where you put the enemies. So each, and then these white tiles right here, these are buildings, which of course you can't shoot through, and you need clear line of sight, so you gotta move in and get people. So this, see how that symbol is a little bit different than the rest of them? It's because this is your first piece. So this piece comes down, it tells you there's a equipment piece here, and then this is where each of your characters starts. And then it tells you somewhere, right here, how to set up the map. You enter a vast, damp, cavernous crypt, and you sense that you've reached your destination, the final resting place of Aurum. Deep pools of water can be found here, which are impossible to cross without aid. So see how this shows you how the setup looks? So this is that first piece, which is right here. That's where your characters start. And then all of these would be upside down. And so you put one here, you put one here, you put one here, and you put one here. And when you do this, you have no idea. First of all, you don't know the alignment of the pieces, and you don't know which piece is where. So as soon as you walk off the edge of a board, you flip the next board. So one way it might be here or here or here, because the alignment doesn't matter. So when you flip over the board, now your game is going. And this is how this game will be. So your next game could be completely different. Not to mention, each one of these cards could be in a different spot. Like you could have this over here. So no two games are going to be the same, which is a great thing about this little set. Then here we have these with the feet on it. These are our creature cards. Let me show you something about the creature cards here. So the creature cards tell you what it is that you're fighting. And if you see these little white dots here, if you're playing with one person, that you'd go to the first dot. That means your bad guy only has 3 hit points. If you're playing with 2 people, you go to the 6, 3 is 9, and then of course 4 people, where there's 4 white dots, that's 12. So that's where you mark the bad guy's hit points in the beginning of the game. Now, the nice thing is whenever you hit one of these black dots, you have no idea which bad guy you're going to find. As you can see, there's 3 for this set. So the order that it comes up could drastically change the game that you're facing, because some of these guys might be easier than others. The other thing is, here we have, see how this has this symbol on it? This is your items. We have each of these things is an item or a spell that you can find. And some of these things go together to create a weapon that would be what you need to fight the big bad. So you're adventuring, you're exploring, you're fighting bad guys. It's a realistic dungeon crawl, and the whole thing is right here in this tin. And then this, right here, this gives you your final. At the end, this is what you receive. And then it sets you up to, that's your reward. So it's a nice little game, and you can play it on different levels. There's level 1, or that was the level 1 part. Here's level 2. See how each of these symbols has a little 2 on it? And again, you have, these are your location tiles that you set up.
Well, these were 3.
Oh, okay. Then I went to level 3 first. Sorry. This is level 1. See how it's got a 1? So you got 1, 2, 3. And the setup is all the same, but you fight different monsters. You get a different ending. Your setup is a little bit different, and then your bad guys are all different. So each one of these, so there's 3 adventures here, and once you complete this, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go, the story continues into this one, Because at the very end of this, so this is the last, at the very end of your tile when you leave, I think, oh, nope, that's not where the connection is. On the first tile here, you're looking for a boat. And see how, let me see, where's the rule book? Right here. So here with the rule book, it shows you have this adventure leading into this adventure, leading into your escape here. Right, that's the full crypts. So that's the whole story. You go from 1 to 2 to 3. So you can play it as, just one-offs, or you can do a complete campaign.
Oh, so 3 is Orum's tomb, and one of the bad guy cards right here is Orum.
Yes. And then in the second game, this is kind of a sequel. You're getting on a boat. You're going across a boat. You're going into an island here. Or maybe this is first, and the island is where you're going. Bloodthorn Island. No, Bloodthorn Island. That's the second one. I'm sure of it. Pretty sure of it. And then because the next one we're gonna get will be this one. But that's the game in a nutshell. I wanted to go over it. I wanted to show you what was inside. And in this one, you get this little boat because part of your adventure is you're steering this boat as you're going down a river. And one of the cool things he has set up is on some of the cards, there's these little rapid symbols, and the rapids grab your boat and pulls it. So if you could get pulled right off the map. The interesting thing with this, we have 4 new heroes, and the heroes can mix and match. So it gives you, it's the same color scheme. So like this one has Linara as the orange hero. So you couldn't use him and Draven together unless you use the pieces from both sets. But that might be a little bit more confusing. Because you use the same colors. Orange, blue, green, and yellow.
Different symbols though.
Yes, different symbols. Because they're different types of, like in this one, this is your fighter, this is your magic user, this is your primary mage, and this looks like an animal tamer. It's got a bird thing that flies off and does stuff. And so these symbols are a little bit different because this one, I believe, is more of a traditional rogue. Here we have, I think, a fighter. This is like a dwarven guy with an axe. This is the more basic set. So yeah.
It seems like here with the start that green, so Haleza has an advantage.
Why?
Well, she's only 1 space away from the item, whereas everyone else is 2.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, we're not competing with each other. It's a campaign game. So when you take the item, like there are some items that is a one-time use, like if you read these items, and some you put together. Like you're making a thing to destroy a big bad. And when you go from part 1 to part 2, the items don't go with you.
Okay.
That's why part 2 will have its own items. And so will part 3, and then see, you get the same symbols over again. You've got, here's your setup for the first batch, and then your story card tells you how to set them up, and then the items, or here's the three bad guys are different for this one. So you have Sargon, a mummy, and
arachnids, plural, so spiders.
So yeah, spider type people things. And then so that's what you're fighting in the very beginning. And then you have a key, a hammer, a crossbow, and a trident. So, and those don't go with you. Like you're in a crypt. That's how the thing starts. Or well, that's the second one. It starts here, and then it tells you exactly what happens at the end. There's a distant light, and it leads you into part 2, and then part 2 leads you into part 3, so that it can be a full campaign. It's quick, it's easy, it's very nicely stored in the little tins. So at some point in time, I'll probably play through this campaign on camera. We might use it as one of our small box big fun rides. So, but I just wanted to share tonight the basics, so that I could have something to post, and so we could get through this pile from Gen Con. So I hope you enjoy it. I recommend looking up the Dark Tomb on the internet, because you'll be able to find the campaign still, these things are still available online somewhere. And he's got this other campaign that's coming. I don't know if it's already out. I kind of hope not, because I haven't heard anything, and I'm supposed to get a notification because I want to support it. Otherwise, I'll find it online and buy it for sure. I really enjoyed this one. Like I said, I played this one with my brother several times. It was a lot of fun. We played this once. The first part we got our butts really kicked. I mean, it came up hard. Like the worst bad guy you could get in first was the first bad guy we had to fight, and he annihilated us. And then we got to the second part with the river, and it came up just perfect, so it was really easy. And then we got to the third part, and we got destroyed again. So it's interesting too, because the head designer said that he's never beat the third part of the adventure. So it's tough, but it's fun. I really enjoy it, and I hope you will too. So please bear with us. I wanted to make sure we got a video up this week. We will try to get back on track once we get our tripod going, so we can get back to our Hero Quest stuff. And then I've spent a lot of time building maps for Hero Escape lately, and I've got starter maps from every set, so we're going to kind of do a history of Hero Escape down the line. So hope you're all in for it. Until then, from the minds of the men in the cave, have a good evening.